Hey, Dog Nation, it's Brandon Adams again, and I am back here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Apparently a little bit of difficulty with the audio feed a moment ago, but I believe we've got that squared away now, and we'll jump back into the conversation here. We're live at Jordan-Hare Stadium. We're getting ready for Georgia-Auburn coming up 3:30 Eastern time. Game inches closer. Weather is hot. The tailgating has been prolific all day long, but you may notice, and try not to zoom in too close, but you may notice a little bit of sweat kind of rolling down my face right now. That's the kind of heat that we're experiencing right now, very different than the rainy, much milder, cooler temperatures in Georgia the last several days. Today feels like much more of one of those hot kind of early fall games in SEC play. That's what's going to remind you of here. We've already seen a lot of Georgia fans on hand for all of this, so that's been a great thing to see, and everybody's expecting a big showdown, another chapter added to the lore that is the Deep South's oldest rivalry between Georgia and Auburn. So that should be a lot of fun coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. Also, one of the things we're getting ready to show you here is our dog walk there as well. You had a chance to see Georgia arriving. There were a lot of fans. You won't be able to see the fans in the video, but just behind me where I'm set up here, a lot of fans gathered a moment ago, greeting the Georgia buses as they arrive, the team walking in. As you're watching the video stroll by, you'll see the Georgia coaches and players, and one of the things that you may notice that I noticed, and I will admit that sometimes when the team walks by, it's a little bit hard to take a role in your mind of who you're seeing and who you're not. But with my own eyewitness account, having a chance to confirm this with a couple other people there as well, a face that I did not see was that of Dominic Blaylock. A lot of folks have been talking about Blaylock over the course of the last 24 hours because Dominic put out a cryptic social media post that a lot of folks kind of took as, well, maybe Blaylock is planning on being back today and making his appearance for a UGA. That may not have been the case based on the fact that, according to what I saw and according to what a couple other trained eyes saw from this team a moment ago, the presence of Dominic Blaylock was not spotted. Doesn't mean officially that he's not here. As said before, this is the team walking by, seeing who you can see. You can use the video for your own resource to see this there as well. However, I do want you to pay close attention to this, though. At the very end of the dog walk, as the team is almost done, I think you may, if you look closely, you may see a surprising face. So watch the dog walk here closely. See if you notice at the end of this video what I noticed. Now, it doesn't mean that anything as far as a status change is taking place today, but you may see something interesting in the dog walk if you watch it closely here. We obviously have kind of been over the course of the last couple of weeks pre-taping these. It's a little bit easier to get close to the action, get the dog walk pre-taped, and then we'll send it back to our Atlanta area studios to get it up here for the video. So that makes it a little bit more convenient. So the dog walk itself actually happened a couple of minutes ago, but watch it closely, see who you don't see, maybe not Dominic Blaylock, and see if you see a special guest, maybe a surprise member of the traveling party for UGA as Georgia gets ready to take on Auburn here in just a little bit. Pay close attention to that. I'll also remind you of this before I get your comments here in just a bit, that this is our Kroger Kickoff, and obviously Kroger not just helping you get stocked up for your tailgates all throughout the season, but also the one you turn to get ready for Halloween there as well. At the end of the month, so many neighborhoods like my own with kids and families, they love doing it big. That means lots of candy, lots of decorations, everything else. And right now you can get 30% savings on the things that are going to make your Halloween special right there at your local Kroger. So you can literally stop by the store and see them today. Big section right there in the middle of most of the Kroger stores. Or you can start your shopping online as well. Kroger.com/Halloween to learn a lot more about that. That's Kroger.com/Halloween, and you can check that out today. So we'll let you see the dog walk. It'll be full screen for you as I'm talking here. We'll also read a few of your comments, and then we'll let you get settled in and get going for Georgia and Auburn, the Deep South's oldest rivalry, here in just a couple of minutes' time. We'll start on Facebook here first. We'll find out what Georgia fans have to say over there, and hopefully everybody's having a good time and getting ready to go for all of this. Ryan Patrick Presley Gamble has noticed the face that I thought I saw there at the end of that dog walk there as well. That George Pickens has made it. You will see George Pickens at the end of this dog walk video there. Pickens showing up. I personally don't think that's much of any kind of status change for him. We've seen Georgia, frankly, travel injured players before. This is a game that's obviously special for Pickens, given the fact that it's home state of Alabama. He was at one point in time an Auburn commit, so there's a little bit of extra juice for George when George is playing Auburn. And Pickens has been obviously around the program and going through the work there at practice. But nice to see George getting a chance to be a part of the traveling party for UGA today, and a good job by our commenter there noticing what others are going to see on the video with George Pickens kind of rolling by there. John William Adams says, does the heat play a role in the game plan? I don't think so, because it's honestly not as hot as we've had for other Georgia games, right? If you think about early September games, much warmer than it is right now. It's just hotter than it's been. And frankly, it's probably hotter for me because I've been running around a bunch in the stadium, outside the stadium, getting set up. So some of the sweat you see for me is really more a product of the fact that I've just been running around a lot, and plus I'm not as in good a shape as these football players are. But if you're comparing what you're experiencing today, bright sun, it's coming down on us pretty hard right now. But if you compare this to what's typically happening in the month of early September for some of the really hot games we may have remembered in the past, this not one of those. Of course, for those of us who remember Georgia and Auburn typically taking place in November, this is a huge departure from what you normally get for the Deep South's oldest rivalry, but not hot enough to impact what's going to happen on the field today. I don't think you'll see cramping be an issue. I don't think you'll see the fatigue be an issue that sometimes happen in hot weather. It's not quite that hot. It's just hotter than it's been the last few days, and certainly much warmer than it's typically for a Georgia-Auburn game. David West mentioning the Tennessee score. I got to tell you, when you think about biggest surprise in the SEC for right now, the Vols, dominant win last week at Missouri, continuing that this week against South Carolina. Tennessee right now stands as one of the biggest surprises in all the SEC here at the moment. If we haven't shown the dog walk yet, let's go ahead and make sure we're showing that, give folks a chance to see that. Hopefully we are doing all of that. Alan McGovern, thanks for the kind words. Appreciate that. Appreciate you being here. Scott Wood says the defensive line containing Bo Nix is going to be a key today, and I definitely believe that's going to be the case, both in terms of you can't let him slip free and go out there and get those rushing yards or those scrambling plays and keep those plays alive, but at the same time, you're also hopeful that by containing him, you are still able to maintain that pressure. You got to pressure the quarterback too. So you can't be so gap sound that you become too conservative, not get the pressure. Hopefully you are be able to do both. You're keeping him in the pocket, but you're also getting a chance to get out there and sack him there as well. Steve Island says, who doesn't dominate South Carolina? I guess I would have said Georgia itself, likely not to dominate South Carolina. That's what I would have probably assumed on. I'm sorry, not Georgia. Excuse me. Tennessee not likely to dominate South Carolina. Just given the fact that coming into the season, I would have thought that Tennessee was arguably one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the SEC. Right now, they're making that prediction not look particularly wise. Jonathan Crump says he thinks that Nick's going to be counting those stadium lights. You'll see the dog walk coming by there on that. If we can, let's take that full screen if we can, just to give folks a chance to see that a little bit more. I always like to kind of show folks that because it's a chance to see how these Georgia players looked as they arrived at the stadium and a chance to give those folks an opportunity to see who they spot. As we said before, you may see a surprise there walking in a little bit later on. Some folks already thinking they Alco D'Amica says, do I have my cigar ready? Yeah, you better believe we'll be ready to celebrate on this field tonight if Georgia gets that win against Auburn. This will be a fun one there to celebrate. Green Soldier checking in. Always nice to see that. Rodney Hewitt says it's hard to get Bo Nix on the ground. I'll be happy just to keep him there in the pocket. I guess that's the thing, though. It's like if you get too conservative with that, then all of a sudden you're allowing him to make easier throws. I think Nix is more of a weapon with his leg. Even here at home, I think that's still true. But one of the great things with the Georgia defense this season has been its ability to impact teams with the pass rush, and you don't want to sacrifice that today just because you have a running quarterback. You want to find a way to still be able to do both. Mo, thank you for the kind words. Is it Nyang? I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. It says, my dad and I watch you every single day. Mo, that's incredibly nice, and I appreciate that, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly because you certainly deserve that. But thank you so much for checking in as a part of the show here today. Appreciate that. Tino Calvino says, looking ahead to a Georgia-Tennessee game, which will now be in November, the former date of this Georgia-Auburn game, that maybe now Tennessee's going to be running its mouth coming into that game, much the same way a lot of Kentucky fans are for next Saturday's tilt, where the Wildcats feeling pretty good right now about being 5-0 and undefeated with a chance to go 6-0 with a victory tonight against LSU. All kinds of comments rolling in here. Foster Moss got his eye on that Ole Miss-Arkansas game. Obviously, that's one of those fun 12 o'clock games. Nice to have the 3:30 slate. You get the 12 o'clock games, kind of leads you into what's going to happen for the Georgia game. And then obviously after that, we'll be here for you, the Dog Nation postgame show presented by the UGA Bookstore. And a lot of you will be watching us on that and your phone. You'll have your TV screen tuned in to one of those later games there as well. So always fun when you have that 3:30 window. And Georgia gets a chance to really have that here today. Old Army Dog checking in to say, I think that Nick's going to have a rough afternoon. And That seems like a pretty accurate prediction to me. Let's see what else is coming in here. Alco D'Amica asking about the quarterback situation for Georgia. Certainly I haven't gotten any indication that it won't be, to use double negative, I guess. I haven't gotten any indication that it won't be Stetson Bennett. I believe it's Bennett's job today. Did see JT Daniels walking in a little bit earlier. He's obviously here. He will be dressed out. Maybe he's even available to UGA. But if all goes according to plan, I believe it'll be Stetson Bennett you see as quarterback for Georgia here today. Let's check in a few more of these Facebook comments, then we'll get ready to get out of here after that. Kevin Krink wants those big guys to get their hands up, get some deflected passes. That'll certainly be a nice thing for Georgia to be able to do today. Obviously, that becomes a big weapon for your defense. Denethian Henderson, thanks for the kind words. Denethian turned in last night for a great game we had between Blessed Trinity and Calhoun. Cole Spear, the UGA wide receiver commit, I thought he looked great, and what a night it was for Justice Haynes, the 2023 running back that you certainly hope is a part of the Georgia class in the very near future. He had a great night there as well. Fun to be able to see that. Billy Hurley says, I'm looking for an aggressive offense today. And Billy, my guess is that Georgia does need to be more aggressive offensively against Auburn than it was last Saturday against Arkansas for a number of reasons. The venue, I think that Arkansas is a better team than Auburn, but I probably like the Auburn defensive personnel a little bit better. So all of that, I think, leads to the kind of challenge where Georgia probably wants to, at least you certainly hope this is the case, push the limit a little bit more offensively and challenge the vertical extension of this Auburn defense. Last week against Arkansas, soft defensive front. Georgia was able to mostly run, and that led to plenty of success. I think it's going to take probably more than that here today, and we'll find out just how much more. Spencer Quarles, appreciate the kind words. We'll do our best, try to stay safe. Christopher Novotny also wants to see some passing plays here today, and I believe you might get your wish on that. Kelly Michelle Brown gives you a Stetson Bennett with the mailman. Kelly, appreciate you checking in. Aisha Murphy, so ready for this game. And Aisha, I'm glad to have you in the comment section there as well. Dante Edie, I like this, says, I'm thirsty and ready to drink some Tiger tea or Eagle Tears or whatever else that Auburn's claiming as its mascot right now. That's all really fun to think about. Should be a great game inside Jordan-Hare Stadium right behind me here in just a few minutes' time. So stay close to Dog Nation for all of the updates as they kind of roll through here. And we'll be back with you after the game from the field for the Dog Nation post-game show presented by the UGA Bookstore. Big day today between Georgia and Auburn. Thanks for being a part of our Kroger Kickoff. Check out Kroger at Kroger.com/Halloween for more of your Halloween savings and get stocked up for your tailgate stuff this time of year there too. Kroger's got you covered on all of that. We'll have you covered after the game for the Dog Nation post-game show, as I said, presented by the UGA Bookstore. Big day, Deep South's oldest rivalry. Chance to see the Dogs get another big win. Hope you enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you after the game. See you soon, everybody.